Welcome friends. In this video we are going to look at the English paper 2 for the year 2021, and this paper was written by the internal candidates. Now let us look at the first. We have question 1, which has the structure with 20 marks. Answer both section 1 and section 2. Section 1 has the vocabulary where we are given 10 marks. Then from the statement, from the given 3 options, choose the one that completes the sentence correctly. Write your answers on the spaces provided. Ensure that your answers are spelled correctly. Now here, the type of vocabulary that we are dealing with is where you are given different words with different spellings. Now, some of these words may be pronounced the same, but they have different meanings. So our task here is we need to look at the word that we think will suit or complete the given sentence. So let's look at the first question here. The first question, we can see that they stayed in the dash for 2 days. So to stay means to remain, or it is like to be in a place for a short period of time. That's why there is a difference between staying and living. Staying, if someone says thanks for visiting our country or maybe our town, for how long are you staying in our country, or it means like for how many days are you remaining. So you are there as a visitor. So it's different if you ask where are you staying at the moment with where do you live. So where do you live is a question that is asking us to tell someone where we live permanently. So now here we want to look at the desert. So the desert, the spelling, the correct spelling for desert is this one. So that is the answer. So they stayed in the desert for 2 days. So they were just there for 2 days. It's not their permanent area. Then the first one is desert. We know that desert has to do with the food. Then let's move on to question 2. He was told to get the garden dash in order to water the flowers. So here we are looking at the hose. For the hose pipe, we are looking at for the tube that people uses whenever they are trying to water a given land. So this quite correct spelling here is this one. This the second one is like for a voice that is deep. Then the other one, this is the horse for an animal. Then number 3, he was the dash apparent to the throne. So we are looking at the heir, someone who inherits, someone who is going to inherit, especially when someone dies, especially a king or a queen. So we are looking for heir. The heir for someone who is going to inherit is this, with this one E. So this is our correct answer, because the first one has to do with the animal, then the last one we know it has to do with the hair. Then for question 4, Joanne was given a piece of dash by her parents. So there is the difference between there is advise and the advice. So the key point here, what I can share with you guys on this one is the one with the S. The one with the S is a verb. Then the one with the C is a what? A noun. So how can you remember this? You need to look at it. We know that any comes before V according to the alphabetical order. So advice is a noun. So if I say you need to study art, what I'm giving you a piece of advice, but I am advising you. So I am advising you to study hard. So that is the key point. So the answer here is this one. So was given a piece of advice. Now remember the reason why we add a piece of advice. Advice is uncountable noun, so we don't add S. So that is the key point here. Then for question 5, the thief was finally caught by the police. So we want the answer that we think where we want the elasive. That means someone who is difficult to find. So that is the elasive that we are looking at here. So the first one, this elasive with I, this means something to do with the deceptive. Then for this one, the answer is this. So elasive means something that is difficult to find. Then let's go to question 6. The doctor gave her a dash for influenza. So we want to choose a word that we think is connected with something like a needle or maybe an injection. So the answer is jab. Jab is something that is sharp or something that is like an injection. Because job, we know what job is. Then jot, it has to do with push or shake. Then number 7, the coach told the player to take a deep breath. So this, the first one with E, this is a verb, then this is a noun. So the answer is we use this, take a deep breath. So that is the answer. Then the other one is, we know it's breathe. It has to do with the distance. Number 8, the policeman managed to dash the truth from the patient. So we are looking at the word that means like to invoke, to get the truth, to force or push someone to tell the truth. So the answer is elicit. Because the first one means illicit. Illicit is something that is against the law. Then illiterate, we know what illiterate means. Then number 9, she was regarded as a dash freedom fighter. So for here, we want to look at someone who is famous, who is well known for something. So it's this eminent. Then in number 10, the referee urged the players to demonstrate dash play. So we are looking at the word that means something that of equal, fair, that fair of equal. So the first one has to do with the transport money. And I want to maybe share with you guys the correct English for, let's say if you are asking for money, you want to use money for transportation, you can't say I'm asking for transport money. According to grammar, that is incorrect. The correct one, you need to say maybe I'm asking for a bus fare, taxi fare, train fare, depends with the mode of transportation. So the first one, fare, has to do with the transportation. Then the fare of equal value is this one. So that is our correct answer. We want to have a fair play, a play that is equal. We don't want where we have some maybe a certain team is being favored. No. Then for 11, the striker made a dash prior to scoring the ball. So we are looking at the feint. That means something that is deceptive or something that you don't know that this will turn into a goal. So the feint that we are looking for is this one, FENT, because the second one has to do with when someone has fainted, like he has passed out. Then to feint, if someone says you need to fend for yourself, it means like you need to take care of yourself. That's what it means to fend. Then number 12, The children's lives were at dash as there was no one to look after them. So we are looking at what stake. At stake means it was at a point where something bad might happen. So the stake is this one. That is the stake that we are looking at. Because the second one has to do with the meat. Then the other one is stick. So we move on now to question 13. The head of state took a salute during the dash passed on an International Women's Day at the Heroes Stadium. So we are looking for match where we look at like the matching. So the first one is for the month. The second one is what we are looking for. This is it for the matching. Then the other one has to do with the amount. Like how much do you have? It has to do with the amount. Then 14, it was established that many members of the country died of dash poisoning. So the lead poisoning is this one, because the first one is lead. Lead from the past tense to lead. They were led by this. Then the third one is just the lead, like the cover. So that is the point here. We move on to question 15. They all gave and dashed the proposal. So we want the assent. That means they agreed. What was being said was in line with everyone. So it was a unanimous decision. So to assent, the correct one here is this one. Because the second one is coming from the word to ascend. To ascend, like to go up, the ascending order. Then the third one, this is the accent, like the language. Then number 16, the expert managed to dash the bomb and the situation came back to normal. So want to look at the diffuse where you unplug something before it explodes. So the diffuse that we are looking at is this one, because the first one has to do with the diffusion, the movement of particles from a region of higher concentration to a region of lower concentration. Then the other one, we know what defeat means. Then number 17, they reached the dash of the mountain. So the peak that we are looking for here is, we want to look at the highest point of something. If this is the mountain, the peak is here. This is the peak of this mountain. So the peak that we are looking for is this one. So that is the peak we want. Because the first one is for peak, like pick up. Then the second one is peak. Then number 18, it is not healthy to eat dash meat. So we want to look at raw meat, something that is not fully prepared to be, something that is not fully ready to be eaten or to be used. So that is the raw. So the first one is like the line. We know in mathematics, like row by column. Then the second one is the duty, or something that you have to do, like what role does this play? Then the answer that we want is the other one. So it's raw meat, raw material. Raw materials are materials that are not ready. They cannot use at the moment. Then number 19, the people on the island took refuge in a dash. So which arc represents, like we know the arc, the one they use on order for movement. So the arc is this one, because the first one, we know that this is like in mathematics, draw an arc. Then this is the arc. Then number 20, that the attacker turned into a cat was a myth. So we are looking at a myth, like something that is not true, something that cannot be proven. So the myth that we are looking at is here. So this was the need for the first party. Now feel free to pause the video, then you can write the comments in the comment section, because I would also like to hear from you guys. So what do you think of this? Now let's move on to transformation. So transformation is section 2 with 10 marks. In each of the following items, sentence A is complete, but sentence B is incomplete. Complete sentence B each time, making it as similar as possible. Making it as similar as possible in meaning to sentence A. So the whole thing about transformation, which are commonly known as rewrites, is you are given the second sentence that you need to use with your effort. You need to try to make sure you rewrite that sentence, you make it as similar as possible. Then there is a condition here: make sentence B one sentence. So we can't write two sentences. We have to make sure that it's one sentence. So you can't write the first part, then full stop, then another sentence. No. If there is only the only punctuation mark that we can use is comma, because we know that even if we use comma, we still have one sentence. So make sentence B one sentence, never two. Do not make any changes to the printed parts of sentence B. So do not make do not begin in your own way. So whatever that you do, stick to the rule. Then we have question 1A. The old lady was attended to only when the director intervened. So if this director did not intervene, then this old lady would not be attended to. Now we have the first one, not until the director intervened. So not until the director intervened was the old lady attended to. So not until the director intervened was the old lady attended to. Now we move on to question 2A. Clara was both an actress and a soccer player. Then we have beside. Besides means apart from. So there are two ways in which we can transform this sentence. We can mention Clara after besides, or if want, we can mention Clara after the comma. So we are saying we can say besides Clara being. So being an actress, comma, she is also a soccer player. She is also a soccer player. So we can transform our sentence in this way. Or if you want, we can put Clara after the comma. So we can say, besides being an actress, comma, Clara is also a soccer player. We still have the same meaning. Then we move on to question 3A. I am sorry I did not seek the doctor's advice. Then begin, I wish. So I wish. Now we need to look at what is the past tense for seek. So we need to use sought. So I wish I sought. Whenever we use wish, we change into past tense because it's a wish. The fact is you can't change that. So I wish I sought the doctor's advice. Then number 4A, you need to stop dodging lessons. You need to stop dodging lessons. Then we have this one, I would rather you. I would rather you. So we'll say I would rather you attend. I would rather you attend. You attend than dodging. So I would rather you attend than dodging lessons. So I would rather you attend than dodging lessons. Then number 5, she will buy the books provided that you give her the money. So the whole condition here is that for her to buy the books, she has to be given the money. So now we have this one, as long as you give her the money. So as long as you give her the money, comma, she will buy the books. So there are so many ways in which you can transform this. So I would also like to learn from you guys, or to hear from your opinions of this transformation. So as long as you give her the money, she'll buy the books. Or if one, we can say, as long as you give her the money, will she buy the books? Will she buy? So if we interchange, if who comes before she, no need of putting in the comma. So that can be written as long as you give her the money, will she buy the books? Now let's move on to number 6. You should not use bad language. You should not use bad language. Then B, you should avoid. So we are going to change use into using. So you should avoid using bad language. Then number 7, as Charity worked harder, she made more money. So the harder, so say the harder Charity worked, the more money she made. Then number 8, Kitesa accidentally broke the glasses when he was setting the table. Kitesa accidentally broke the glasses when he was setting the table. Then begin setting. So we have here ing. So under ing, you don't have to indicate the doer of that action. So the pattern for writes like this one, is it? You need to have a comma. Now, whatever that you write before the comma, you don't have to mention the doer. And the doer of an action here, the subject is Kitesa. So we don't have to mention Kitesa. So say setting the table. Setting the table. Then we put comma. So as you can see, we have not mentioned the one that did the setting. So setting the table, then after that we are going to say Kitesa accidentally broke the glasses. Okay, then we move on to question 9a. He did not perform well, although he studied hard. So we want to rewrite this one where we use despite in between. So we'll say he didn't. So he didn't perform well despite studying hard. So we change to continuous tense. So despite studying hard. So he didn't perform well despite studying hard. Then question 10. Chilinda and 7 other students were expelled from the university last year. Chilinda, with 7 other students. So we change now from were, we change into was whenever we have a comma here. So was expelled. Was expelled from the university. Last year. So this is what we can share, but don't forget, I would like to hear from you guys also. What are your concerns? What do you think? Can you handle this transformation? Now we move on to question 2. So question 2, we have comprehension with 20 marks. Read the following passage carefully and then answer the questions that follow. So the comprehension is all about the ability or the level of somebody grammar. So if you are given a passage, so this has to test, it is testing us how good are you with understanding. Now let's look at the question, this paragraph 1. So the paragraph 1 is, a chemical in the mucus of frogs has been found to kill certain strains of the influenza virus. The discovery could lead to the development of powerful antiviral drugs, but many frogs are at risk of extinction. Scientists have discovered a weapon in the fight against influenza virus, a special chemical found in the mucus of South Indian frogs. Then paragraph 2. A species of fungoid frog has the capacity to kill some strains of flu. This is as the result of molecule known as uramine, fittingly named after a traditional Indian whip-like sword. Then 3. Researchers were able to test the compound on mice. These successfully managed to destroy a number of flu strains, including the multi-maligned H1N1 virus, known as the flu, which has previously proved resistant to other drug treatment. Then paragraph 4. Frogs are immune to the influenza virus. However, they are vulnerable to bacterial and fungal infections. This knowledge gave researchers a reason to believe that there are peptides on their skin which could help to treat HIV virus in humans. Despite the promising findings, it will take some time before effective medicine becomes available. Number 5. The uramine molecule does not survive long in the human body, meaning researchers will need to find a way to make it more stable. This should be done before it can be used as a treatment option. Luckily, scientists are confident that they will eventually be able to chemically synthesize the compound for use in humans, meaning frogs are at least safe from being harvested in large quantities for medical purposes. Then in paragraph 6, the new discovery does not provide a glimpse into future possibilities of deriving similar compounds from other frog species. These compounds are difficult to treat viruses such as dengue fever and Zika. The Panamanian golden frog is one of the many critically endangered species and may already be extinct in the wild. The present breakthrough therefore offers an important incentive to protect frog species, which may hold the key to curing some of our dangerous viruses and preventing global pandemics. Last paragraph. According to the International Union for Conservation of Nature, IUCN, more amphibians are currently under threat than mammals and birds combined. This includes 466 critically endangered frog species. An estimated 165 amphibian species have died out in recent years, with numbers on a down curve. Scientists may be racing against the clock to isolate powerful disease-fighting compounds which are waiting to be discovered. So from Speak Out, volume 36, number 1. Now let's look at the questions. So in each of the questions 1 up to 9, select the best answer from the 4 options provided. Indicate your answers by drawing a circle around a letter on the question paper, as in the example given below. If you change your mind, cross out the initial choice very neatly, then circle your revised answer clearly. For question 10, answer is instructed. So let's go to question 1. According to paragraph 1, the development of antiviral drugs from the mucus of a frog could lead to A. Increase in medication in the fight for influenza, B. Increase in scientific discovery of drugs, C. Discovery of species chemicals, D. The wipe out of frogs from the forest. So let's go back to paragraph 1 so that we can have more information. So let's look at paragraph 1. A chemical in the mucus of frogs has been found to kill certain strains of the influenza virus. The discovery could lead to the development of powerful antiviral drugs, but many frogs are at risk of extinction. So to extinct means to stop in terms of existence. Scientists have discovered a weapon in the face against the influenza virus, a special chemical found in the mucus of South Indian frogs. Okay, let's go back now. We answer our question. So according to paragraph 1, the development of antiviral drugs from the mucus of a frog could lead to A. Increase in medication in the fight for influenza, increase in scientific discoveries of drugs, then the discovery of special chemicals, the wiping out of frogs from. So it is the increase in medication in the fight for influenza. So that is what we can say there. Then 2, in paragraph 2, the term weapon is used to mean something that is designed to. Okay, let's go back so that we look at where we have the word weapon. So scientists have discovered a weapon in the fight against the influenza virus, a special chemical found in the mucus of South Indian frogs. Let's go back. Let's look at the multiple choices. So the term weapon is used to mean something designed to A. Cure viral diseases, B. Inflict pain, C. Prevent diseases, D. Spread viral diseases. So the weapon here is to cure viral diseases, because if we go back to paragraph 1, we have discovered a weapon in the fight against. So in the fight is all about curing. Then number 3, the findings of the researchers in paragraph 3 state that the findings of the researchers in paragraph 3 states that flu is, let's go back to paragraph 3. So paragraph 3, researchers were able to test the compound on mice. Okay, this successfully managed to destroy a number of flu strains a number of flu strains, including the maligned H1N1 virus, also known as the flu, which has previously proved resistant to other. So to resist, it means to oppose something that it has resist. So whenever a person is given a certain drug treatment, this influenza resist, it fails to be, it's not prone to that. So now let's look at the multiple choices so that we can be guided more. So the multiple choices, the findings of the researchers in paragraph 3 state that flu is easy to treat, B, difficult to treat, C, fast in spreading, D, slow in spreading. So according to that, we are looking at, since we looked at resistant, meaning it's difficult to treat. Then question 4 in paragraph 4, frogs are known for dash, curing the influenza virus, B, spreading bacterial and fungal infections, C, their ability to spread the influenza virus, D, their resistance to influenza virus. So let's go back to paragraph 4. So the reason why we are going back to these paragraphs, because the first time that you read through the paragraph, you may not understand it fully. So whenever you are trying to answer the question, please refer to the given paragraph. That's why you are given a paragraph, so that you refer to it. So paragraph 4, frogs are immune to the influenza virus. Frogs are immune to the influenza virus. However, they are vulnerable to bacterial and fungal infections. So immune has to do with the resistance. So frogs, they are able to resist influenza virus. Now, even if they are able to resist to influenza virus, they are vulnerable, they are prone to bacteria. When it comes to bacteria and fungal infections, they are able to be affected. This knowledge gave researchers a reason to believe that there are peptides on their skins which could help treat the HIV virus in humans. So the whole thing is about it. They are immune to virus, to a virus. We know what a virus is. It's a protein. But when it comes to bacterial and fungal infections, they are vulnerable. Okay, so despite the promising finding, it will take some time before effective medicine becomes available. So let's go back to our question. So in paragraph 4, frogs are known for A, curing the influenza virus, B, spreading bacterial and fungal infections, their ability to spread, D, their resistance to, so the answer is D, their resistance to influenza virus. Then in question 5, a conclusion can be drawn from paragraph 4 that A cure for HIV has been discovered, no. B, if even with research the HIV virus cannot be treated, no. C, a cure for HIV is likely to be found. This is the answer. There is a chance, even if it's not yet found, there is a chance. That's why we are told it will take some time. Despite the findings, it will take some time to find, but there is a chance that the cure for HIV is there. Then question 6, the idea to chemically synthesize the compound found in the green-eyed frog for use in humans stated in paragraph 5 will A, bring about treatment for influenza, causing the extinction to the green-eyed frog. C, contribute large quantities of medicine. D, preserve the lives of the frog. So let's go back to paragraph 5 so that we may have more information. So paragraph 5 reads, the uramine molecule does not survive long in the human body, meaning researchers will need to find a way to make it more stable, so that it is able to survive more. So this should be done before it can be used as a treatment option. Luckily, scientists are confident that they will eventually be able to chemically synthesize. So to synthesize has to do like the ability of human being to make, rather than using the things that are made by God himself. So chemically synthesize the compound for use in human, meaning because of they are able to synthesize, frogs are at least safe, so we cannot worry too much. Okay, let's go back to the question. So the idea to chemically synthesize the compound found in the green-eyed frog for use in humans, paragraph 5 will A. Bring about treatment for influenza. B. Causes extinction to the green-eyed frog. C. Contribute large quantities of medicine. D. Preserve the lives. So it's all about it. We know that since there are chances of chemically synthesizing these, therefore the lives of the frogs are preserved, to keep something for a longer period of time. Number 7, it is important to protect the endangered frog species because it will lead to A. Discovery of a cure for virus. B. Increase in the number of frogs in forests. C. Preservation of endangered frog species. Scientific discovery on how to combine compounds. So the whole thing is about preservation. That's why we protect, we preserve for future. So an endangered is something that you are afraid to undergo extinction or to stop existing. Then in question 8 in paragraph 7, racing against the clock means, so let's go back to paragraph 7 so that we may have more information. So according to the International Union for Conservation of Nature, IUCN, more amphibians are currently under threat than mammals and birds combined. This includes 406 critically endangered frog species. An estimated 105 amphibians species have died out in recent years, with numbers on a down curve. Scientists may be racing against the clock to isolate powerful disease fighting compounds which are waiting to be. So racing against the clock to isolate. Okay, let's go back. So in paragraph 7, racing against the clock means A. Competing with the clock, having enough time. B. Having limited. So it's all about having limited time. Number 9, according to the passage, there is need to save frogs because they are a rare species. B. Are vulnerable to disease. C. Can be used to treat the HIV. Can save the lives of human beings. So here, the best answer between C and D is C, because we know that whenever if something can be used to treat the HIV, it is able to save the lives of human beings. So D is in C. Then we move on to question 10. From the underlined words in the passage, find one word which means the same or nearly the same as the following words or phrases. Spell each word correctly. So spell each word correctly. So now to answer this, let's go back here. We look at some underlined words that we have. So chemical in the frogs has been found to kill a certain strains. Certain strains. So certain type C up here. Then extinction, we are looking at to stop to exist. Then fittingly, from the word to fit into something. Successfully, we know what successfully is. Then here we have infection. What else do we have? What else do we have here? Then we move on to, here we have endangered. Endangered is something that is at risk of extinction. Then incentive, so offers an incentive to protect frog species, so has to do with something to do with payment. Curing, you know what curing means, to stop an illness. Then what else do we have? Compounds. We know what a compound is, a composed of two or more substances. Now let's go back to our question. So a payment, we know it's incentive. Then suitable, manner, that is suitable, fittingly. Then types of something, strengths. Then seriously at risk of extinction, endangered. Okay, so now we can move on to, so read the following passage carefully and then answer the questions that follows. So we're dealing with a summary, and we know what a summary is. You are given a passage and you are expected to write as short as possible. So here we have a flood is a large amount of water that covers an area that was dry before. Floods causes displacement of people, destruction of infrastructure such as roads, bridges, and houses. Crops and livestock are washed away. Affected families lose most of their household goods, especially electronic appliances. Given the magnitude of the destruction caused by floods, more collaborative efforts by global and local partners are necessary to ease immediate challenges through relief, food distribution, and social cash transfer. Global partners include multinational corporations, the private sector, and faith-based organizations dotted out the country are examples of local partners. Then number 2, the destruction of infrastructure, crops, and livestock is an economic cost to the country, while the displacement of people has caused a humanitarian crisis. People afflicted with floods require emergency aid in form of tents for shelter, blankets, and medicines. It is also necessary to prevent an outbreak of waterborne diseases such as dysentery and typhoid. In this regard, water treatment chemicals should be part of the relief. Chlorine is an example of a treatment chemical that ought to be used. Number 3, the disaster management and mitigation unit has been on the ground. They need more financial support to be able to continue responding quickly to distress caused. Beyond the humanitarian aid, early warning systems that enable people in flood-prone areas to vacate need to be put in place. These, though, require reliable weather forecasting, technology that makes timely and accurate prediction of flooding. In addition, it is prudent to build houses that can withstand flooding so that relocated families can return without needing to start building. According to the Zambian Meteorological Department, torrential rain causes floods in the rain season in various parts of the country. Then number 4. Okay, so number 4, floods may be an opportunity for employment through mechanisms like rainwater harvesting. Rather than complain about water and scarcity during the dry Drier months, this is the perfect opportunity to conserve excess water for future use. Garbage disposal in undesigned places blocks drainages. In the event of drainages getting clogged by silting, for example, they should be unblocked forthwith to allow free movement of water. When the movement of water is hindered, floods inevitably result. There is definitely need to consider constructing climate resilient roads like the one from Choma to Namwala. Then 5, there are people still living in places which are flooded every rain season. Measures should be taken to permanently relocate those communities to safer places. There is no longer any justification for people to continue living in what they may term ancestral places where their forefathers were born. Climate change is real and people should come to terms with realities by doing what is right for themselves. So adapted from the Zambian Daily Mail, January 21, 2020. Okay, so you are advised to read most of these magazines and the newspapers because you may encounter a question that you once read. So in not more than 136 words, explain what should be done to help out. So the whole thing is about it. Explain what should be done to help out flood victims and deal with floods. The summary has been studied for you. In order to help out flood victims and deal with it, there is need. So some of the points that I want to share and I always share with you is you just have to consider very much on sentences where there is and that's where the points are. Now, when you choose those sentences, make sure you are in line with the need of this question. So the question is, we want to look at the solution. So the question is, explain what should be done to help out and deals with the flood. So let's now look at paragraph 1. So flood is a large amount of water that covers an area that was dry before. Flood causes displacement of people. So this is just the result. Destruction of infrastructure such as roads, bridges, and houses. Crops and livestock are washed away. Affected families lose most of their household goods, especially electronic appliances. Given the magnitude of the destruction caused by the floods, more collaborative efforts by global and local partners are necessary to ease immediate challenges through their food distribution and social cash transfer. Global partners include multinational corporations, the private sector, and faith-based organizations dotted around the country are examples of local partners. Okay, let's go to paragraph 2. The destruction of infrastructure, crops, and livestock is an economic cost to the country, while the displacement of people has caused a humanitarian crisis. People afflicted with floods require emergency aid in form of. So here now is the point because we can see that we are looking at how we can help. So require emergency aid in form of tents for shelter, blankets, and medicine. Okay, we have 1 point. It is also necessary to prevent an outbreak of waterborne diseases such as dysentery and typhoid. In this regard, water treatment chemicals should be part of the relief. So another point here. Chlorine is an example of a treatment chemical that ought to be used. So under summary, you are not advised to give the examples that you are given in your passages. So let's look for more points. Then 3, the disaster management and mitigation unit has been on the ground. They need more financial support to be able to continue responding quickly to distress caused. Beyond the humanitarian aid, early warning system that enable people in need. So this is another point here. So early warning systems that enable people in flood prone areas to vacate need to be put in place. This, though, requires reliable water forecasting technologies. That's also another point here. This can help that make timely and accurate prediction of flooding. In addition, it is prudent to build houses. Okay, another point. It is prudent to build houses that can withstand flooding so that relocated families can return without needing to start building. Then, according to the Meteorological Department, torrential rain causes floods in the rainy season in various parts of the country. Number four, floods may be an opportunity for employment through mechanisms like rainwater harvesting. Rather than complaining about water scarcity during the dry months, this is the perfect opportunity to conserve excess water for future use. So this is also a point because it's like an advice. So how do you respond to flood? Because we know that we cannot control season, but if that problem comes, how do you respond? So the response is important, so it's also important. Then garbage disposal in undesigned places blocks drainage. So in the event of drainages getting clogged by silting, for example, they should be unblocked. So here, there is a point here. They should be unblocked forthwith to allow free movement of water. When the movement of water is hindered, floods inevitably result. There is definitely need to construct climate resilient roads like it. So this is also a point because we are looking at that. Then 5, the last one, there are people still living in places which are flooded every rain season. Measures should be taken to permanently relocate those communities to safer places. There is no longer any justification for people to continue living in what they may term ancestral places where their forefathers were born. Climate change is real and people should come to terms with realities by doing what is right for themselves. So this point is like now the conclusion. After you advise, so you conclude by this one. So these are some of the points that I can find here. So I want also you can comment in the comment section below. What do you think are the points that I may have skipped or forgotten? So this is what I can share with you guys for this video. Thanks for watching.